Hello and welcome, Reds. Thank you very much for tuning in for our daily live show. Make sure you get your comments in the comment section below, whatever platform you are on. If you enjoy, or if you've got a burning passion for Liverpool Football Club and you enjoy connecting with all our fellow Reds around the world, make sure you do hit that subscribe button and the follow button down below. Hopefully, I'll be joined by a couple of guests on today's episode. It won't be a long one. We'll just be discussing a massive summer for Liverpool and joined by Ricky. I can see him in the green screens in the back. I'll get him into the panel anyway. Thank you, Ricky, for jumping on. But yeah, as I said, top of the show, it's a massive window for Liverpool, not just for incomings potentially, but outgoings as well. There's a lot of room for recouping, a lot of transfer free, obviously with the qualification for Liverpool for third place Champions League qualification as well, and a lot of revenue streams that FSG will look to very much exploit in obviously the legacy fans anyway that they like to call us. Make sure you do get your comments in today's show. We'll be highlighting them, getting involved, and I want to know your potential transfer fees for certain players that we need to move on and get rid of this sentiment of keeping players around the football club because we kind of like them. At the end of the day, we need to keep players at the football club that we think that will have a benefit factor to which Liverpool want to succeed in a variety of competitions. But the main priority for Liverpool next season is to bridge that gap that we have had. Obviously, the big factors in which Liverpool face this season has been injuries and that potential of bringing players into the squad that will very much strengthen Liverpool in a lot of areas. But let's quickly get Ricky in anyway. Thank you very much for jumping on, mate. I know it was a bit last minute, but thank you for coming on, mate.
No worries, appreciate it.
You're very welcome, mate. Make sure you head over to the 1892 Reds podcast if you are new. Whatever platform you're on, you can find him on YouTube. Are you on Facebook at the minute, mate? Or?
No, not Facebook, just Twitter and Instagram and YouTube at the minute.
Yeah, so make sure you do follow the lads. Amazing content as always. But yeah, there's a lot to go through, Ricky. I won't keep it too long, but I really do appreciate you. Hopefully you had a good day, mate. But let's get to a couple of comments anyway. Mitchell, only players I'd have on the thumbnail is Tielemans and Basuma. Anyway, nice one, Mitchell. Well, I can give you my Adobe account and you can make me thumbnails in the future, mate. But nice one for dropping in, mate. Sam Aiken, how you doing, matey? Need to sell a lot of players, but the buying clubs always seem to hang on until the end of the window and get the prices down. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, it's a big factor in it, Ricky. I think a lot of business, I know a lot of international coaches, obviously Southgate has talked about any potential transfers for clubs around Europe for getting the deals done before, obviously the competition in the Euros and obviously the Copa America and all the other international tournaments that are going on. Do you think a lot of business for Liverpool will be done before these tournaments do start?
I think Liverpool will try to get their transfers done before the Euros start, like the major transfers that we're looking at, like the Konate. Although Konate ain't gone to the Euros, he's currently at the under-21s tournament, which is supposed to finish, I think, the 6th of June. So apparently they're going to announce it after that, but it won't surprise me if we announce it before.
Yeah.
I just think we're going to look to get it done quick.
Yeah, it's so important that Liverpool do get the business done early, mate. And I think obviously you don't want any distractions for these certain players coming into the football club or i.e. leaving the club as well. But make sure you do get your comments in, Reds. Obviously, your top priorities. Me and Ricky will be reading through, and obviously we will feature them on today's episodes. Or if you're watching this video on a replay, obviously get your comments in, and we will feature them in tomorrow's episode anyway. I will read them out, so your comments will not be missed. North Reds, we do need a bit of a ruthless in and up and coming months, in the upcoming months anyway. We can't stand still. We've done amazing considering our troubles this year, but our bench needs to be stronger, and axe must fall on some of the players. Obviously, North Reds, and I think a lot of Liverpool fans will agree, and Ricky, me and Ricky spoke off camera, that Liverpool have got probably one of the best starting 11 in the Premier League. probably better than Manchester City's, but Liverpool's squad is not compared to Manchester City, and it's not just Liverpool that will strengthen. A lot of clubs around Europe, obviously Inter Milan, they've just won the title in Serie A, but they're looking to offload players because could a possibility of Liverpool looking at a couple of Inter Milan players. City, Chelsea, United, they will be disgruntled with the way in which they've played, and obviously them getting beat. Get in. Last night, I think we all enjoyed that. Albi, absolute legend. I know he wasn't the best player, but he was a good lad anyway. Good lad anyway. And similar of the ilk of certain players that we will be looking, me and Ricky and you have put on the thumbnail anyway. Tilly, who do you want? Mbappe, wait, what? So that's Tilly in the background. We can't, if you're wondering what that weird noise is anyway. But Helen, evening everyone. Helen, hope you're having a lovely day, and everyone that is tuning in, hopefully you're having a lovely day. But it's going to be a massive window, and we will, as I said, we will, this graph anyway, as everyone's already alluded to, there's a couple of names that probably everyone's going, why have you not included? But off the top of my head, I felt, Ricky, I want to know your thoughts. Liverpool, Divock Origi, his exploits for Liverpool very well known, but I think, as I said at the top of the show, we need to get rid of this notion of, he scored a Champions League. We need to be ruthless, don't we, Ricky? And these are my set targets. Obviously, you haven't looked on. There's probably people going, as if you'll get that certain amount of players. But for me, I'm looking at Divock Origi, 15 to 20 million. Joel Matip, I think you'd be lucky if you can get 10 million. But if he's a fully fit Joel Matip, you're looking in excess of 15 plus million. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I know Jürgen has spoken very freely in recent weeks about Naby Keita and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. For me, I think he's only saying that to get a bit more traction in terms of negotiation with any potential transfer fee in the future, to try and embed them in Liverpool's potential plans to make it seem that they are included. Naby, for me, there's a player there, but at the end of the day, you can't continue to rely on players that are injured 5 times a year, mate. What are your thoughts on that, Ricky? On the players I've selected, or any potential players that you would throw into that mix, potential outcomes?
I personally think we get rid of both Ox and Keita this summer. And I do think we sign 2 centre midfielders. From what I've heard of a few people, Tielemans is the number 1 priority. Liverpool potentially looking to do a lot of player exchanges this summer. So if we went to Leicester, who do you want at the mid, like Ox, Keita in the Tielemans deal? Then it wouldn't surprise me if we did something that's similar to that. I don't want Bissouma. I don't think he's the player we need. I do think if we sell Divock Origi this summer, I hope he gets the same send-off Gini Wijnaldum got. Because we talk about how Gini Wijnaldum's goals against Barcelona. What about Divock Origi in that same Champions League year? I'm just sticking it out there. The guy deserves a send-off. And I see one of the comments, I hope he ain't chucked out the side door and given no goodbye.
No, it's Divock's a very weird one, isn't it, mate? He showed in the Liverpool career glimpses, and obviously that injury against Everton hampered his potential form. I think that was when he was at his peak form. There's a player there, but for the way Liverpool want to be and the player and the calibre that we want to attract and we expect to be at the football club, Divock Origi is not on the level of Salah and Mane's and the Jotas. I mean, it's very harsh to really compare him to that level, mate. But as you said, the goals against Arsenal and the cups, and obviously the games in which I wish Liverpool played the likes of high stakes games every week, mate, because I tell you, if there was one player, if you played them up front, he'd be getting 30, 40 goals a season.
Do you know what it is? With the injuries. So Lallana's a prime example of it. Lallana was a good player for 6 months, was on top of his game, got that long-term injury, come back, wasn't. Like, Liverpool tend to go up levels over a 6-month period. Happened to Ox. Ox had an amazing 6 to 8 months. Got injured, never come back to establish himself because we then took it up a level again. It was the same with Origi. Origi got that in before the injury against Everton, was on top of his game.
Yeah.
Got that injury, we then went up another level, and he missed out obviously with going up in that level with us. But it's just a weird one with Liverpool and injuries. We always tend to go a level above prior to them getting injured, and they never come back.
Yeah, he done that. Jürgen and Edwards with Danny Ings. Obviously, when we brought him in, didn't he, mate? There was that potential of, oh, could he stay fit? And I think Jürgen Klopp got a bit sick of don't get me wrong, there's a quality player in Danny Ings, but Liverpool can't rely on the year in which we've had. We were talking about attacking plays, but the defensive crisis in which Liverpool that was accumulated by their own selves for not having the required squad depth within the squad, and absolutely spot on there, mate. And everyone, let us know your thoughts. Obviously, Joel Matip, I absolutely love Joel. He's probably Liverpool's second best defender at the football club when he's fit, but it's i.e. when is he going to be fit? How long is he going to be out or in the squad? There's no Liverpool. We've seen the last couple of weeks, back end of the season. We need consistent levels of team selection. We've seen that with the two young lads at the back. How much confidence it spread throughout the squad, and Ricky and every single Reg. You all know that when Liverpool have had their full squad, when we won the league, we very much had our starting 11 fully fit throughout the whole of the season, and you can pick that, and Jürgen knows, and you can rely on. Obviously, that's when you can build confidence, not just in terms of the players, but in terms of the results. Like that never stay die attitude in which the Jürgen talks about, Ricky, that the consistent levels of performances on the pitch build, and then you just building this air of not arrogance but positivity that you step on that pitch and you're not going to get beat. But yeah, we will discuss the incomings potentially, but we'll get to all your comments. Absolute legends. Don't mind dropping a like on the video. Really does help the channel out a lot. I really appreciate every single one of you for tuning in and sharing it. If you want to share it anyway, we greatly appreciate it. Obviously, if you're new around here, make sure you head over to 1892 Reds podcast, Ricky's channel with Luke. The link should be in the description anyway. If not, they're on YouTube anyway. They should pop up. But let's get to all your comments before. Oh, go ahead, Ricky.
What you've got there is spot on, to be fair. But I think there's two more going out as well as what you've got on there.
Who would you include in that?
Harry Wilson. Actually, three more. Harry Wilson, Grujic. And I want to say it's Sadio Mane.
Oof, that's a big one, isn't it, mate? Why?
I just think at the three, there's clearly something not right with Mane this season. I think Liverpool will now look at it. We can cash in. There's going to be teams that want him. The Man United game weren't just attitude because he never played. There's something deeper going on there. Klopp does well to sort of palm it off in the press, but I do think he goes this summer. If a bid comes in that we think's acceptable, because I think you're going to start to see now the revamp of the three up top this summer. And I think Sancho comes in.
Yeah, the great sides in Europe, mate, and obviously everyone always alludes to that great Barcelona side, the MSN, with their squads, and any great side around Europe, when they've been dominant, you always have to refresh, and I think that's what you spot on there, mate. That's a big shout from Ricky anyway, but let us know, would you potentially sell? But I think that's what Jürgen Klopp and Liverpool are in a position now, mate. We don't need to sell our top talents, but you need a potential transfer fee as well.
Yeah, I don't think we'd look to sell Mane. I just think if there was an offer that come in that sort of got eyes raised, there'd be. And I've seen in the comments, Firmino will be the last one to go out the front three. He's a Klopp player. He does it Klopp wants. I think further along the line, you're going to see Firmino drop into a sort of midfield position.
Yeah.
The later on it gets in his career, because he's got the pass in him, isn't he? So
Yeah, I love Bobby Mason. We spoke this year, and yes, he's been off the boil, but I think that comes with why Liverpool need a big summer. We need plays and quality behind Firmino. I think Firmino would love nothing more than to have like a week's rest and then just go again. Imagine you bring on a fifth, 100% Bobby Firmino that could just press the living daylights out of any potential the team that you've got the week after. But spot on there, Ricky Mitchell. I hope Divock doesn't slip out the back door without getting a send-off. Even though he should have got a send-off similar to Ginny after everything he has done. Spot on there, Mitchell. And if there's any potential players that are leaving, I think they probably will potentially come back to Liverpool. I think if the club, whoever signs them, would allow them that time, considering obviously the conditions in which surround football at the minute and the world anyway. You really want to give. I think Lucas had it when he come back and he got that obviously round of applause anyway. So spot on there, Mitchell, as always. Oh, indeed, we did Alberto Moreno get it off there. This is like Albie, and that was a mad penalty shootout on that, Ricky, and everyone. I was just so happy, and the sheer arrogance of Manchester United. For the whole week's build-up, it was even the pundits on BT. Oh, Man United have done stroll this. Have you not watched Unai Emery in his managerial career in Europa League? He's won 4 Europa Leagues. Anyway, he's experienced, and the sheer arrogance of Man United and turn up on the pitch on that night, last night, and win a game of football. If only football was that easy, Liverpool found that in recent finals as well. You have to earn and warrant and demand at least that you get the results. I just loved it, Ricky. The sheer arrogance it was the post goals and Rio Ferdinand's. And if you want to believe Ollie is potentially getting a new contract, the longer that man stays at Manchester United, the less successful Manchester United will be. And they will not win massive, and I mean massive Europe or any potential. Mate, we were like 5 points behind them in their like best season, aren't we?
I mean, if you're head director of football, one of the directors, one of the owners, you're seeing Conte, Zidane, available. Allegri's going back to Juve, so Pirlo's getting sacked. Potter's going back to Tottenham because apparently he's had a massive falling out there. We don't like the way PSG operate. It's because he knows Mbappe is coming to Liverpool, so he wants out, doesn't he? I mean, Zidane, as much as I think Zidane's overrated, I mean, I could win the Champions League with Real Madrid, the team he had with Ronaldo and that. But to see these people available and you're still keeping Ollie and giving them
it's like when pre-Klopp, mate, we had Rodgers, don't get me wrong, Rodgers done great, but you don't pass up the opportunity when there's potential better managers available. At the time, I think Ancelotti was out of a job, Klopp was out of a job anyway. When we had Rodgers, you've got to cut your cloth and really move on. And as you mentioned there, Zidane, he is a head turner. If you brought him into your football club, if you had a Zidane come into the changing room, I'm telling you, he's above and beyond anything that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will ever achieve in his managerial career. Yes,
PSG.
Yeah, and that probably will turn Mbappe's head if he is going to stay, and because he's a French World Cup winner.
They need to get it done quick.
Yeah, so, but yeah, spot on there. It was absolutely amazing stuff on it. I agree, North. I've been saying it all along. We've got complacent, keeping Deadwood far too long. I see at least 10 first teamers leaving if we are really serious. Helen, I think you're spot on there. Obviously, there's probably names that I haven't, as Ricky mentioned, alluded to, and there's probably names that he's just screaming at the telly. Why have I not put him? But obviously, it's only a certain amount of space that you're allowed. But yeah, spot on there, Helen. Evening, hiya, mate. After Manx been locked down, we haven't seen a peep anyway. But I think Origi defo goes and one of Mane or Firmino to go also. Hopefully that is not the case, Ellen, but you never know with FSG if they want to sell up in an ideal world. But it loses value of the football club if you do sell your best assets. And I don't think Liverpool would do that anyway. Let's get to all your comments. I really do appreciate all you getting involved. I'm just quickly scrolling through because there's so many comments. You'd love to see it. Thank you so much, every single one of you. I've lost me. Okay, so where are we? Oh, there we go. Hello, fellow Liverpool romantics. Avens, hope you're having a good day, mate. Appreciate it. No, Fred, Helen, every single one of you. Klopp as well. Can see your comments. I'll get to that, mate. I believe Bobby goes interesting, very, very interesting. I know these are my thoughts, but this is why I created my channel, to get every single one of your thoughts and opinions. It's all right what I say, but I care more about what Ricky and everyone else thinks as well. Eamon's saying hello. Ox and Shaqiri need to go. Helen, and that's why I've put Shaq up. Ricky, if he has a mad Euros, it just boosts his transfer value, doesn't it? To any potential income suitors.
Do you know where I see him playing? Wolves. I see Wolves selling Neto, or if someone stupid bids for a Dama Traore, pace merchant. I mean, Shaqiri would be a perfect sort of replacement for him on the wing. He's not a bad player, Shaqiri, when he's fit.
Yeah, I love Shaqiri, mate. He's when we're talking about any potential, he's only that bit of quality that Liverpool at the minute have got to come off the bench.
No, done me with him. No, there was one thing that done me with Shaqiri, and I was like, no, he's got to go. Away to West Brom, he was sort of running sideways. He turned and he just booted the ball off the pitch to no one. And I mean, this was in the 90th minute, and I'm thinking, oh, what is he doing? He's got no right foot.
There's no doubt, and yet again, it's similar to what we've said, what everyone says about Origi. Is I tell you, I think Liverpool could probably get more than 20 million. I know I've put 15 to 20 mil there, but off the back of a good Euros, hopefully, I think Edwards would be licking his lips and going, go ahead, just add an extra 10, 15 million, because you know how much players. Yeah. Look at prime example, James Rodriguez, when he was at Porto, I think it was, and then off the back of that World Cup performance, he gets a massive move to Real Madrid for a crazy amount of money. So it can be done. I don't think Matip will command a big fee, obviously due to his injury. Spot on there, Sir Klopp. We'll be very lucky to get 5 million for him. That's if we can find a buyer. Otherwise, I can see him running his contract down. And that's a big, very important point that you said there, Klopp, that Naby Keita's got 2 years left on his contract. Whether Liverpool look to sell him now when we've got a bit of leeway, because I'm telling you, you don't want to be losing an asset. Yes, we talk of players. They are assets to football clubs. They command a big fee, and that's where all the value comes from within your football club. Liverpool don't want to be put in a situation that we have with Gini Wijnaldum, where we've spent 50, 60 odd million, whatever we paid for Naby, and we're losing him for free. We can't allow that to happen, can we, Ricky?
So Naby Keita will be used in potentially 2 deals, I reckon. Either the Tielemans deal with Leicester, because Leicester have shown interest in Naby Keita, or he will be used in the Dortmund deal if Liverpool want Sancho. And Matip will get used in a deal somewhere. Listen, I believe if Matip goes back to Germany, he will be fit. He won't get as injured as much.
Yeah, it obviously Matip will. I think every club in Europe, mate, I think they'll look at their medical staff and go, if we can get a full fit Matip, say 25, 30 games a season, he would get into the majority of big European clubs, mate. As you mentioned, the Bundesliga, he's got a load of stock with what he done with Schalke when he comes to Liverpool. As I said, I only said sell Matip because in that scenario of potentially Liverpool selling Matip, we give a new contract to Phillips. I think if Phillips didn't have the impact and the desired impact in which he showed in his Liverpool career, and Reece as well, I think we will loan out Reece Williams. He's got a bright future at the football club anyway, but you bring in that Phillips to really, obviously, as you can see there, a tick on Kanate. That's more or less done. Then you put into Van Dijk, Gomez, Phillips, and any potential defender that you want to bring into the football club, i.e. Kanate or another potential transfer. Still, Sir Klopp saying hello to Ellen. Mitchell Tillmans will cost so much money. He would have to force a move to get him for 50, probably closer to 70 you have put. And I don't believe we will spend much more than much more after Kanate. Very interesting.
Did you see Tielemans after the Leicester's last game?
He was crying his eyes out, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It was very highly publicised. So either he knows something that we don't, obviously the Leicester fans don't. I think Leicester will struggle considering they haven't got Champions League football. I think there'll be a lot of suitors. A big factor in which any potential fee there, as Mitchell said, the 70 million that he would command. Obviously, when they signed him off Monaco for that fee. Obviously, he was at Anderlecht a bit when he was in his younger days anyway, but he's had a great impact. And yes, the consistent levels which have been levelled at Tielemans, if he did move to a club like Liverpool or a Dortmund or another big European club, his consistent levels performances need to improve. He's had, obviously, his great goal in the FA Cup. That shows his quality and ability. But I think that's one thing that Tielemans needs to show if he moves to a Liverpool or any potential bigger club than Leicester.
He needs to step his game up a little bit in terms of work rate if he wants to be in a Klopp midfield, because we know what Klopp's midfield like. They just run around, don't they? I do think he's off somewhere. There was a Belgium journalist who's close to the national team that's saying there's a 30% chance that he stays at Leicester this summer. So he's obviously going somewhere. I don't think we pay the whole fee up front for Kanate. I think we pay extra on the transfer fee so that we can pay in instalments, like we did with the Yotta deal. Apparently, we paid an extra 6 million so that we could pay in instalments, which I believe they'll do with Kanate, purely because the reason we won't sign Kabak is because Leipzig are interested in Kabak. So if Edwards is smart, we'll pay you instalments. We won't sign Kabak. You have a clear run at him.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, mate. And it's an interesting aspect in which, that's the thing, innit? We've all watched transfer windows and certain, as Ricky's just hit the nail on the head there, certain deals have an impact. Say in an ideal world, Liverpool signed Sancho or Haaland, or someone signed Mbappe, that money would be circulating around the whole of Europe, and obviously it would have an impact. It's so many ramifications really on and potential transfers in and about as well. But Klopp wants to keep Ox and Shaqiri as he sees benefit for next season. Yeah, as I said at the top of the show, Helen, I think he's only saying that for me personally. I think he's saying that for any potential suitors looking at these players, wanting, because if he come out said publicly and said, "Oh no, I don't see a future for Ox and Shaqiri," obviously he's never gonna say that. But in terms of any potential suitors, you'd be like, "Oh, sound, they're not part of Jurgen's plans, and could we get them at a cut price, really?" But spot on there, Helen, saying hello. My name's Michael. Good to know, Sir Klopp. My memory's like a sieve, mate, so apologies. I'll probably just keep on going. Sir Klopp, anyway. Nice one, mate. Our midfield is a mess and aging, with only Jones and Elliott under 30. Right. Interesting, Helen. I think that's what me, Ricky, and a lot of Liverpool content creators will be discussing. As I said, I've made on my notes. Spot on, Helen. You mentioned that anyway. On my notes, it's the age profile of this Liverpool squad. It's not going to be getting any younger. And we've spoken about if Jurgen does potentially sign a new deal in the coming years after his 2 years or 3 years are up at the football club. It's about this new build of Liverpool, the new face, the new transfers in and out of the club. There's a lot of work to do. Do you think will be any big names leaving this summer? Oh, just speaking to one another. And Jeremy has gone with the big man, the big name, Mbappe. Obviously, Jeremy, nice one, mate. Thinking new round here. We'd appreciate dropping in, matey. that is another big name. I've put Haaland for me personally, Ricky, and I know a lot of you. For me, I love Haaland. I think it's something that Liverpool lack in bagfuls in terms of the clinical nature, and he probably would go for a lot more than 100 million. Mbappe, as Jeremy said there, it's an interesting. There's so many scenarios in which clubs around Europe do look at and analyse Mbappe's potential incoming transfer. Whether Nike could look at this, obviously with the branding, he's a Nike ambassador, really. Mbappe, very good ties with Nike in terms of the branding as a company. We've seen with certain transfers in the past, big sponsors have backed certain clubs in terms of bringing in players and attracting these players. Ricky, where do you see Mbappe, as we've mentioned? If Zidane does go to PSG, what me and you think? We'd love, it's either Haaland and Mbappe are the two big transfers, and obviously Sancho we could throw into the mix. They are the free pool of probably the three most talented players in Europe. Who, from your personal point of view, mate, would you rather want? Would you love to see an Mbappe or Haaland? Obviously, everyone's got their wide range of opinions on that. What's your thoughts? You can't have them both anyway. You can't pick it easy.
No, that's only if we get the Super League, we would have got both.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
The two very different players, aren't they?
Yeah. I'll probably go Mbappe, just say Mbappe in it.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Ricky, you would go with Mbappe. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you had the possibility of any potential transfer, would you like to see the profile of Haaland or Mbappe? In an ideal world, Liverpool buy them, but we're not playing FIFA anyway. But you never know. Michael Edwards could sell their agents an absolute dream. A couple of M&Ms, pack of the cheese and onion crisp, and a little cheeky trip to Liverpool if he wants, or Blackpool Tower if Jürgen wants to take him up there. Anyway, not quite the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but yeah, let us know your comments. Matip will be a free transfer. Matip will be a free transfer. Who on earth is going to pay that money for him? Class on his day, but his day is 6 times in 12 months. Spot on there, Mitchell. The only reason I've said that fee, Mitchell, is Michael Edwards. If we had Ed Woodward in charge of Liverpool Football Club, then we'd be letting players go for pennies. But Michael Edwards, he's got a proven track record at the football club of bringing players in and selling the likes of Dom Solanke for 15, 20 million, Jordan Ibe for 50 odd million, might as well have been 50 odd million to Bournemouth, 15 million anyway. Kev Stewart, we sold him to Hull, and we more or less got Andy Robinson in the opposite direction to the football club, more or less a free transfer if you look at it in terms of that. But I hope Ginny comes back if Barca get banned from Youth Champions League. If only that was the case, Ellen, but I think he's getting a big, hefty transfer signing on fee, which him and his agent and his missus will probably enjoy all that money anyway. Transfers are going to drag out until the Euros is over. Eamons, as we spoke, me and Nicky, and I'm hoping that is not the case, mate, but it makes every content creator on YouTube or any avenue, it makes us more ideas for videos, Eamon.
Just got I'm gonna have to love you and leave you.
Oh, go ahead, matey.
Take it easy.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
No worries. Take care.
Have a good day, mate. Appreciate you coming on, matey.
Bye.
Yeah, that was Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast, Reds. So make sure you head over there, subscribe to his channel. We do appreciate him coming on and obviously taking the time out to come on. But yeah, Reds, it's going to be very, very interesting what Liverpool do. I think Firmino will go first. I think Firmino will go first starters anyway. Interesting. I think we'll struggle to sell players like Matip or Origi, so I think we should just release them. No, Helen, there's always going to be suitors, and as I mentioned, Michael Edwards, he's very famed and has proven track record of selling players. He could sell a packet of M&Ms for 50 quid to anyone really, but Really do appreciate all your comments. We need a top midfielder, winger, striker to add more depth to our squad for sure. Spot on there, Eamon, and I've made a note on me on my notes today, and it's about FSG. What other way is the better way to get FSG? They've had a nightmare summer, like certain other owners in the football, in world football anyway. But there's no better way to rekindle a connection with fans or mend bridges. I think that's to say FSG are not in the best situation in the eyes of Liverpool supporters around the world at the minute. But there's no way better to rekindle a connection than allowing Jurgen Klopp to say, like, Jurgen, there's 200 million. Obviously, we've mentioned the Champions League sales, outgoings, football. It's so easy, really. Obviously, with the money that we can sell players for, obviously the Champions League money, the position in which we finished in third, that's around about 70 to 90 odd million, which we did recoup for any potential budget for next season. So money will be there. The shirt sales, there will be. I know not a lot of people have enjoyed seeing the home shirt, but a lot of publicity has been made of the potential fair kit and the away kit. So obviously every avenue that Liverpool will look, and FSG and the club will look to exceed really in terms of any potential transfers or money wise coming in. There'll be a lot of money getting floated around the football club anyway. But we see Mo will be the first to go. He's the highest value, and I don't think the club will want to miss out on 100 million. Very interesting, Mitchell. I love Mo Salah, and I'm hoping he does retire the football club. You only have to look at his celebrations for Alisson's goal. He really does connect with the football club. And for me, Mitchell, I'm hoping we'd never sell Mo Salah, but football is a business, and any potential assets and that you want to recoup, FSG and the football, any business wants to see a money back off any potential assets in which they have got. Obviously, any potential outlays anyway, but spot on there, Mitchell. I'm hoping Mo does retire the football club, Mitchell, but it's never going to happen. Gone are the days of loyalty. There's not that many players like Steven Gerrard and the Jamie Carragher's. There's not the modern day footballer has changed. Yes, I agree with the midfield and striker. Not sure about the wingers. It's very that Villarreal team shouldn't have got anywhere near that United squad, Mitchell. But it's about the chemistry and really warranting it was mad that United, you just had to look at Paul Pogba prancing round the field last night, the Bruno Fernandes, he was diving all over the place. As I said, Mitchell, and like, it's not always you spend a load of money. It's about creating a squad that is competing with one another and want to win together. Jurgen Klopp, he's got a history of at Dortmund, at Mainz, creating these squads at Liverpool, creating squads that play for one another, not just a squad of individuals. Yeah, you might add the odd 50, 60, 70 million pound player like we have with Virgil, like with Van Dijk, with Alisson as well. Bring in the odd player here and there, but the camaraderie within the squads, it's crazy. And as long as Ollie is a manager of Manchester United, Mitchell, I don't think United will win a lot of trophies anyway. We need to build around Salah. Very much agree with that. Ollie screwed up his tactics as usual. Hope the chap gets a new and improved deal. Evans, I think if you want to believe the news reports, he more or less is getting one. The second for the United this season is such a false position. Everyone in the league wants them to keep Ollie, and the way they are so blind, they can see it. Where's Mbappe, Anfield Lark? Hey, you never know. I'd love Mbappe, mate, but I think Haaland is a bit more realistic. Don't be wrong. Obviously, we've already spoke on today's show, the Anfield Lark, haven't we, about is Mbappe's contract is going to be a very interesting position in which Paris Saint-Germain do find themselves in. If he doesn't sign a new deal, PSG will have to at least try and recoup any potential transfer fee. I think he's got a year left, so obviously after this year, he could possibly talk to every club around Europe. If Salah goes, we buy Mbappe and keep Mane, Firmino. Don't see us getting that. The stats Salah has, very, very interesting. Shaq, no matter, will be close to the heart with those 2 beautiful goals versus the Manx, a legend forever. Yeah, I went to that game, North Red, phenomenal. I've been impressed, and when we knew, obviously, bringing him in from Stoke is when he's been at Bayern, when he's been at Inter anyway as well, and when he's away at Switzerland in international tournaments, he's a very good player, and I think that's what has helped Liverpool's improvement. When he has come in, he's made that impact, and as I said, it go off with a good send-off because he's not been a player that is being content with allowing to stay on the bench. He's known his position in the squad and he's tried his utmost best. He's not been happy to sit on the bench. And if he does leave the football club, as you mentioned there, North, he'll go with a lot of respect from every single Liverpool fan around the world. Yes, I think North Red, mate, if we throw that Keita money down the drain and let his contract run down his contract, it will be a worse signing than Karius. It's an important situation at Mitchell that we can't allow ourselves, as you already said there, mate, to allow a player of that quality. And he's still a young player. I think he's about, let us know how old Naby Keita is in the comment section below, Reds. I mean, he's not an old player. He's got a lot of potential. It's a shame that his potential hasn't been fully realised at Liverpool. I think Jürgen, if there's one player within this football club that is really frustrated, not in terms of he's frustrated, Naby, but in terms of frustrated that he has not seen the full potential which him and Edwards seen at RB Leipzig anyway. I think if he does stay, I'm hoping he stays fit, and we've got just a quality player in there. We've seen little glimpses and cameos. Our first game against West Ham, I think it was not last year, but the year before. He can play out wide. He can play in the central areas for Liverpool as well. He can play centre forward like we've seen in the Bundesliga. So there's so many if, buts and maybes in terms of if a player stays fit. If he doesn't, could we sign a player? Could we sell a player in terms of that? But spot on there, Mitchell. Mbappe has been to Anfield to check us out. He's seen having jabs, but I don't think we have bought him. I think he's just casting us out to see whether it's advisable to join. Obviously, Jürgen Klopp, there's all those pictures that got branded around when Mbappe come to Anfield, obviously in the group stages with PSG, Jürgen give him a good owl, Jürgen Klopp hug, and at Liverpool, and now we've been put in a position, thankfully, from Jürgen Klopp and the work, that is tireless work from Edwards and the plays in which we've got at the football club at the minute. Everyone has put Liverpool into the position in which we are. We are amongst the elite within European football, back where we belong. And any potential player, they look for projects. And Mbappe, he's no stranger to Liverpool Football Club. He would look at Liverpool and go, right, that Jürgen's got them back to winning the Premier League, the first league title in 30 years. And it will be a very difficult title next season and the coming years, because I think I wouldn't surprise me if Jürgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola both stay at the football clubs and both sign new deals. And really, because I think Guardiola himself, as much as it frustrates us as Liverpool fans seeing City as successful as they have been, both Klopp and Guardiola, they love competition amongst each other. And I don't think there'll be anyone other than Manchester City challenging Liverpool. Don't get me wrong, Tuchel's done a great job at Chelsea since he's come in, but I think there's a bigger job compared to what I don't think he's expected. I think he will. Don't you know? He's had the big impact. Obviously, doing the Champions League final. If they win the Champions League, I think has he achieved more than what they expected him to coming in to a football club? It will be interesting. It will be between Liverpool, Chelsea, and City, really, for the league next season. I think Ollie has one more chance to win silverware next season. If he doesn't happen, I'll see him sacked. Absolutely spot on there, Helen. Klopp won't spend over 50 million per player this summer, so the scouts better in their keep. Eamons, that's it's amazing. Michael Edwards, mate. I know we all laugh about Michael Edwards being the Liverpool's upturn in terms of recent form has been due to their recruitment. It's been more or less perfect, apart from the one or two odd transfer like Naby Keita that really hasn't panned out the way in which we'd hoped. Still at the football club, that corner could still be turned for Naby, but Michael Edwards and Jurgen Klopp and the technical staff behind closed doors, they are wizards. And I tell you, I'm pretty sure the names that we've discussed, that we've got up on the screen tonight, there's probably names that Liverpool haven't, that us fans have really not looked at and went, bloody hell, we could really sign them. So that's why they get paid the big bucks in it. Michael Edwards, he's an absolute wizard, and he will go down in Anfield folklore if he continues having the record in transfers incoming to the football club. It's crazy what that man can do in terms of signings. Be asked with Haaland being linked with other clubs every week from his agent. Good player, can't see him and Klopp getting on. Yeah, Mitchell, Mina Raiola, he's paid in the backside, as you already said there. Whether Liverpool would want to deal with that, as you mentioned there, spot on there, Mitchell. If Jurgen, probably he'd be an admirer of the player. Don't get me wrong, I think Liverpool would need to be in the contention and really look to analyse and say, Haaland, he's a phenomenal player, but as you said there, you really don't want to be messing about with agents and Mina Raiola expecting to get a £20 million signing on fee. I think Klopp would just probably brush it aside and go, for me, I'd love Haaland, what you just said there, Mitchell. It's very difficult to deal with Mina Raiola anyway. Absolutely pain. I am concerned that report of FSG wanting to buy more clubs in their portfolio, which spells disaster for LFC, I think. Wouldn't surprise me. Both. Yeah, no, Fred, who was asked, would you want Haaland or Mbappe? Yeah, no, that's a bit greedy, that, mate. But yeah, maybe a championship team would buy Matip. There'll be a whole host of Champions League teams, Bundesliga teams, Premier League teams, even in that case. Did anyone hear Pep have the absolute cheek to say City can't afford Haaland? I don't. They spend like 50 million at a time, but he spoke like they weren't backed by one of the richest countries. I tell you, Pep. Everything that comes out of Pep Guardiola's mouth in a press conference is very precise. He says it for a reason. He's a very intelligent man. We've seen in certain, as he said there, Mitchell, he's got so much money in the kitty for Manchester City. Yeah, I get them to Blackpool on the rides. Always do the good business there. Yeah, get Mbappe or Haaland on a cheeky ride on the the Ice Blast or something. Don't even know if that's still going in Blackpool, Pleasure Beach anyway, Pleasureland, whatever it's called. Get them on the Pepsi Max. There we go, Mitchell. Get them on the Pepsi Max and get them, I tell you, going on a ride with Jurgen Klopp, it's good enough. It's a dream to interview Jurgen Klopp. He's an amazing manager, but he's a great personality as well. He'd relax everyone. He's a good laugh. He'd enjoy a pint with Jurgen. But obviously, the club would never allow Jurgen to do interviews with me, most definitely, because I'd be asking him a lot of interesting questions. But yeah, we all love Jurgen. With Zidane favourite for the PSG job, and Mbappe ain't going anywhere, in my opinion. Eamons, I'd very much agree with that, mate, as well. I think he will go to Paris Saint-Germain. Nice one, Ricky. Spot on there, Mitchell. Good lad, Ricky and Luke from the 1892 Reds podcast. Really do appreciate you coming on, mate. North, we are a global brand already. Our new shirts sold out all over the world, all over the place, and it's average FSG have to spend. For example, we buy Haaland, we win the league. Bold statements, but I believe that. I'd very much agree with that, mate, as well. Did you all know Karius is back in the summer for pre-season? How long a contract did he get? I think it was a 5-year deal, mate. He's made a good impact. I think I was looking at the Hertha Berlin. They are in the Conference League, the European Conference League, whatever Tottenham are in now. So he's had a desired impact. It will be interesting to see if Hertha Berlin, if they do qualify in that competition, will take the option to buy him. Again, it's more money for a transfer kitty if we do sell him. Well, let's just put this way. Let Salah go and buy whether either Haaland or Mbappe. Can you honestly say we can win without Salah? I'm hoping. I know a lot of journalists and that around the world, not really Liverpool journalists, but in terms of the big journalists around world football, they like to bring up the names of Salah, Mane going. It creates headlines. It's so easy to create headlines when you're talking about the caliber of player that is Salah and Mane and all that. But absolutely spot on there. Eamons. Top players are not looking for projects. They want top money and trophies. We got to continue being up there for top honours. It's a very important comment there, Eamons. When Liverpool, when we had Suarez and when we did finish runners-up in the Premier League, obviously in that year, it was that moment that Liverpool failed to really capitalise on. When we were at the top, or when we were amongst the elite at that year, Liverpool failed to strengthen in our positions. Similar with Rafa, obviously we had the owners and we had to sell players for any potential incomings to the football club. It was heavily documented that Rafa didn't have the best surroundings to really get players into the football club. But Eamon's spot on there. Would you agree with him, Reds? Liverpool need to strengthen when we're on top. When we've got the likes of Van Dijk, the Alissons, the Thiagos, we need to strengthen when we're at our top, as Eamon said there, because we don't want to be having another year of here misses or missed opportunities. City will strengthen. Chelsea, as we've already mentioned, will strengthen. PSG will strengthen. Real Madrid, all these clubs, but Liverpool need to be into the mix. I know there's a couple of players that I put on the chart there. Probably won't sign any of them. Probably not, apart from obviously Canate. But would you like, as I mentioned, I haven't really spoken about Harvey Elliott. I know I put him on the graph. But, Reds, would you be happy with, say, selling Shaqiri, getting some money in for any potential other transfers, and bringing Harvey Elliott? He had an amazing impact at Blackburn Rovers. Or would you like to see him go out to a championship side or a potential promoted side into the Premier League? For me, I want him to be training with the elite within Liverpool Football Club. I think he learns a lot more. Don't get me wrong, he's not guaranteed minutes at Liverpool and he won't be starting a lot of games. But if you're training week in, week out with the likes of Salah, Mane, I think he learned a lot when he was at Blackburn. But you tell me, he's a lad that doesn't lack confidence. If he come into Liverpool set up next season, he would have any potential impact in the Capital One Cup or the FA Cup. Or I think, for me, I'd love to stay at the football club. Or probably a lot of you are probably shouting, going, Jack, we need to let him go out on loan. And for me, I think I'd love him to have that desired impact training with the elite at Liverpool Football Club. Top players and to stay spot on. Yes, Eamons. Right, I'm going to have to shoot. Been an absolute pleasure. Thank you to every single one of you that is tuned in today, Reds. Helen, Eamons, Mitchell, the Anfield Lark, North Reds, Ricky that joined me from the 1892 Reds podcast. Really do appreciate it. Dave as well. Sir Klopp, every single one of you that is tuned in, you are the lifeblood of this channel and the lifeblood of Liverpool Football Club. The fans are the most important. And thank you to every single one of you that has continued to support all the content. As always, we'll be back tomorrow for another episode. If anything breaks in terms in relation to that man to my left, Canate, or any other transfer news that is a lot more concrete, I'll be here as quick as I possibly can. But thank you to every single one of you for the continued support, for every single one of you that has dropped a like on the video. It Absolute legends. Really do appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, Reds. But have a lovely rest of your Thursday night. And we'll be back tomorrow for another daily Liverpool news show. Ta-ra, Reds.